Alright guys, I gotta talk about what I saw at Browns camp on day 9, because I'm still sitting here shaking my head about it. This wasn't just another routine day at training camp. No, this was one of those days that tells you way more than what the box score or the highlight reel will ever show. This was about body language, about decisions behind the scenes, about who's really getting a chance and who's being forced to wait their turn. So let's start with the headline: Shedeur Sanders, 0 reps, not a single snap. And let me tell you, when I walked out there, I thought, okay, today's the day. Today Shedeur gets his shot. Today we see him spin the ball in a real practice setting, maybe even start building that chemistry with the guys. But nope, it never happened. He stood there, helmet on, eyes locked in, like he was ready to go at any second, but his number was never called, and the longer it went on, the heavier it felt. It wasn't just me noticing it either. You could feel the crowd shifting, reporters glancing at each other like, wait a second, they're really not gonna let him throw today? Now, after practice wrapped up, Tony G, one of the Browns reporters, managed to grab Shedeur for a quick chat. And I've got those clips, and man, I'll tell you, his face said more than his words. There was no anger, no outburst, but you could see it in his eyes. That mix of frustration and determination. That look of a guy who knows he's being overlooked right now, but also knows exactly what he's capable of. It was like he was silently saying, all right, you keep me on the sideline today, but when my time comes, I'm going to make it impossible for you to ignore me. That's the kind of quiet fire you can't coach. That's built in. Meanwhile, while Shedeur was stuck on the sidelines, Dillon Gabriel was busy owning the day. He got snap after snap, drill after drill, all the spotlight. And to be fair, Gabriel looked pretty good. His timing was on point, his release was smooth, and he was making the kind of throws that look great on a camp highlight reel. The Browns even put together a compilation of his work from the day, almost like a little mini hype tape, and I went through it frame by frame, because here's the thing, I want to see not just the throws he completed, but the situations he was in. Was he being tested? Was he under pressure? Was he throwing into tight windows? And that's where the story starts to take shape. Because yes, Gabriel looked solid, but when one guy is getting all the opportunities and the other guy isn't even stepping on the field, how are we supposed to compare the two? How are we supposed to have a real quarterback battle when one player is playing the game and the other is just watching it happen? That's the part that gets me fired up, because I know how football works. I know that reps are everything, especially for a young quarterback. Every throw matters, every huddle break matters, every tiny mistake is a lesson. And when you take those reps away, you're not just delaying development, you're controlling the narrative. You're shaping how this whole competition looks before it even really starts. And that's what I can't shake off about day 9. It wasn't just that Gabriel looked good, it was that Shedeur never even got the chance to show whether he could look better. It's almost like the scales are already tipping before the game's been played. And you have to wonder, is this by design? Are the coaches testing Gabriel because they already trust him more? Or are they protecting Shedeur, holding him back until they feel he's ready? Either way, it's a gamble, because every rep Gabriel gets is another layer of rhythm, another step ahead, another piece of trust built with the coaching staff. And let's be honest here, quarterback battles are as much about politics as they are about talent. Coaches say it's about who performs best, but sometimes it's about who they're comfortable with, who they believe can run their system the cleanest, who makes fewer mistakes in practice. And right now, Gabriel is stacking up evidence in his favor, while Shedeur is standing on the outside looking in. But here's the flip side, and this is what keeps me glued to this story. That hunger in Shedeur, that frustration, that's fuel. And when he finally gets those reps, whether it's day 10, day 11, or whenever Stefanski finally calls his number, all of this waiting is going to come pouring out of him. Every throw is going to carry weight. Every snap is going to be a statement, because he's not just fighting to show he belongs, he's fighting to prove that keeping him on the sidelines was a mistake. And trust me, when that moment comes, the entire mood around this quarterback battle is going to shift. It's going to go from Gabriel looks sharp, maybe he's the guy, to whoa, wait a second, Shedeur just walked out here and flipped the script. And when that happens, we're going to look back at days like this. Days where he didn't get a single rep, and realize that this was part of the story all along. So yeah, day 9 of Browns camp, it wasn't just another practice. It was a message. Maybe it was intentional, maybe it wasn't, but it told us a lot. It told us how the coaches are distributing opportunities. It told us about the patience Shedeur is being forced to have. And it told us that this quarterback battle is way more complicated than just who throws the better ball. And I'm telling you right now, the second Shedeur gets his chance, this whole thing could flip upside down. And when it does, don't say I didn't warn you. Joe Flacco is officially our starting quarterback for the upcoming season. And yes, I can hear some of you groaning or raising eyebrows. Flacco? Again? But listen, this isn't just about putting a veteran name on the field. This decision carries layers of meaning, implications for every young quarterback in the room, and it sets the stage for some serious strategic moves. All off-season, we've been hearing about this so-called four-man quarterback competition. Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel. On paper, that sounds like an intense, wide-open battle, right? A chance for a rookie to rise and maybe shock the league. But if you've been paying attention, you could see the truth behind the curtain. The competition wasn't nearly as open as it seemed. The real fight was always between Flacco and Pickett, with Sanders and Gabriel mostly there to add intrigue, a little smoke to keep fans guessing. And then, as it often does in the NFL, reality hit. Pickett struggled with injuries, and suddenly, the Browns leaned on the steady hand. Joe Flacco, with his experience, leadership, and calm under pressure, became the obvious choice. He's a quarterback who has seen the highs, survived the lows, and can steady a team still trying to find its identity after a roller coaster season last year. But let's be honest, this move casts a long shadow for the young guns, especially Shedeur Sanders. And here's where the drama really kicks in. Sanders came into preseason with a spark, a sense of confidence, a readiness that you could feel even watching through a screen. Against the Panthers, he looked sharp, explosive, and fearless. Exactly the kind of talent scouts and analysts raved about coming out of Colorado. Yet despite all that, he's been quietly placed behind Dylan Gabriel on the depth chart. That's not just a number on a sheet, that's a statement. It raises a big question. What is Cleveland's plan for Sanders? Could they trade him? Could they hold him and groom him slowly? Or could he end up as the what could have been story in a few years if they mismanage his development? This isn't just speculation. Think back to the Ravens in 2018, Flacco over Lamar Jackson. Baltimore waited too long, and eventually Jackson became a two-time league MVP. I'm not saying Sanders is Jackson, but the scenario is eerily similar. A promising rookie sits while the veteran holds the reins, and the decisions the team makes now could define the next decade. And let's talk logistics. Cleveland can't keep 4 quarterbacks on a 53-man roster without paying a price elsewhere. Roster spots are precious, and every decision affects the rest of the team. Someone's going to get moved, and that puts Sanders in a particularly precarious spot. Do they trade him for a mid-round pick or future draft asset, or do they keep him, betting that his potential is worth more than immediate compensation? The stakes get even higher when you factor in the AFC North. This division is brutal. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens are always a threat when healthy. Joe, Burrow's Bengals can strike like lightning when their offense clicks. And the Steelers, don't underestimate them. A tough defense, a developing offense, and a chip on their shoulder every season. One wrong move at quarterback, and Cleveland could fall behind before the regular season even starts. Right now, Flacco is the leader of the offense. Pickett remains in the mix if he can stay healthy. Gabriel has his role as a backup. And Sanders, he's the wild card. He could be the long-term solution the Browns have been searching for, or he could become a trade asset, someone who grows into a star elsewhere while Cleveland loses out. That tension is what makes this story so compelling. And here's the thing, this isn't just about week 1. This is about identity. It's about what the Browns want to be in the next few years. Are they a team focused on short-term stability, or are they willing to take a calculated gamble on the future? How they handle Sanders now could determine whether we're watching the rise of a franchise quarterback or another what-if scenario down the line. So Browns fans, I want to hear from you. Should the team hold on to Sanders and invest in his development, even if it means delaying the timeline for immediate success? Or should they trade him while his stock is high and double down on Flacco and Pickett? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this debate isn't just fun, it's crucial to the Browns' direction. The preseason is ramping up, the regular season is almost here, and the quarterback room is at the center of it all. The decisions, Cleveland makes in the next few weeks will ripple through the roster, the locker room, and the entire AFC North. And one thing is clear, this offseason is already shaping up to be one for the history books. Cleveland, get ready. The journey is just beginning, and it's going to be one you don't want to miss.